Okay guys, here's 7 reasons why you should consider a vintage travel trailer for your next rig. Alright. Hi guys, well I'm back again with another 7 reasons. And in case you don't know, I do 7 reasons because 10 takes way too long and 7 is long enough. And I can get pretty long-winded on these subjects about camper vans and RVs and things like that. So yeah, guys, that's why. And so this one is kind of funny because all of you, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you're going to know that I am really not a huge fan of RVs of any sort, really. But there are some good things to be said about some of them, and in particular the ones that are vintage. Vintage RVs have been around for a long time and they're still on the road, and there's a reason for that. And so I want to present to you guys today 7 reasons why I think that you need to consider a vintage RV for your next rig. And if any of you guys have any other reasons, I want you guys to put these in the comments of any of my videos that are like this on any of these subjects. If you guys want to chime in, that's great. If you have any other questions, let me know. We can always revisit these things. I know that people like lists on the internet. They have fun watching them, and so we could always make more lists, or like I've said before, I could just possibly even do a different kind of video on these subjects that people are interested in. So just let me know about that, okay guys? All right, so let's get down to it. Reason number 1. This is a very important reason, and this is one of the reasons why I do consider a vintage trailer. Vintage trailers were made way better back then. They used a lot of good craftsmanship and skills to make these things. That's why there are still quite a few of them around. Even if they weren't very well taken care of, there's still at least a skeleton of these things left that people can restore. People just built things at a better, higher quality back then, back in the 1960s on back. Travel trailers have been around probably since the 1930s. As we know them. Before then, they were like gypsy wagons and sheep herder wagons, and those wagons that they took across the West. I consider a type of travel trailer, but as far as like the RV kind of industry ones, we didn't start seeing those until probably maybe the 1920s or so. Like in the 1930s. So some of those are still around and are functional. There are campgrounds where you can go and stay in them. So that tells me something that's almost 100 years old that people are still using as a camper or living in must be of high quality. Okay, number 2, they come in many shapes and sizes, just like any other trailer. So you can get little teeny tiny teardrop trailers all the way up to great big huge park models. There's ones that are not meant to be moved very often, but they're still tow behinds. Bowles Alero made a whole bunch of them, and there's so many others I can't even remember the names of them, but they were really cool old vintage trailers that were just made to be parked in a park and then moved every once in a while. And then all the way in between, you'll have the little canned ham shaped ones. And then, so there's just all these neat little sizes and shapes that you could get. Number 2, they're relatively inexpensive to buy. Unless you're talking an Airstream or something like that, even ones that have been, partially or totally restored are extremely cheap. You're not going to find a brand new RV for the price of one of these. These are actually very affordable. So even if you didn't want to put the work in and restore it yourself, and you would like to buy one that was already restored lovingly by somebody, they're not going to be, hitting your pocketbook too hard. I've seen some out there for, 10 grand and under that were just adorable. Somebody totally redid them and redecorated them, and you just can't find that in something that's new. Even if it's made to look like an old one, you're still going to be paying a lot more money than $10,000 and under. So that's a really good reason right there. If you did want a vintage RV, they are relatively cheap still. Um, Number 4, they're simple, just like a van build. They don't have a lot of systems in them to break, especially the really old ones. I mean, a lot of them even still had just ice boxes. Um, they didn't put a lot of stuff in them because they just didn't have that back then. Some of them don't even have bathrooms, you know. Some of them had showers and bathrooms, but most of them don't. They're very simple, a lot fewer items to break. They are just, I think, more reliable. That could be one of the reasons why a lot of them are still around, because there wasn't all these complicated things on them, like slides and everything else, and just weird gadgets and things. They just didn't have that back then, and they didn't put them in the trailers. And you were supposed to be going camping. You're not supposed to be bringing your whole house with you. So to me, that's a really good reason to consider an older trailer if you don't want to build something yourself, because it's going to be built the way you would build a camper van or something like that. Very, very simple and elegant. And if I was to ever buy a trailer or a travel trailer, it would be something old like that didn't even have a refrigerator and no bathroom or no nothing. It would just be one of these little cute little canned hams with an ice box and a stove and a bed and a little closet area and a place to stash a porta potty, and that's going to be it, because I just like the simplicity of them, and I think that's a really good reason to own one. Number 5, they are totally restorable. They made these trailers out of regular materials, stuff that you could get at the hardware store. It's not this weird high-tech stuff that, or even fiberglass or weird things that these newer RVs are made with. There's not a bunch of plastic and staples and chemical crap. We're talking, you know, real woodwork, real framing, real metal, all of that kind of stuff. So it's easily restorable. Even if you find one that's just, you know, barely hanging in there and all you've got left is like some tin hanging off of it and the trailer part, you know, if you have a picture of it and the plans for it, you could totally rebuild it from the ground up if you have to. Whereas something that's, you know, a little bit newer than that, where they started putting all the fiberglass and all the particle board and all that junk on them, you know, from the 1970s on up, it's not worth it. Just tear the whole thing off and use the axles and build a whole brand new house, because I'm telling you, you're not going to want to restore the thing, or just throw it away, you know. But some of these really old ones like this, the really old vintage canned ham trailers and stuff like that, they're totally restorable and they're totally worth it. And it's a good piece of history that people like to preserve, you know. So that's a really good reason to own one if you're really into it and you're really passionate about it. It's just, there's something that there is very much worth restoring. A lot of people redo old Airstream trailers, and a lot of people redo the old canned hams and the teardrops, and they come out looking better than new. You know, you can't say that with a regular, you know, newer RV. They might look okay, but they're not going to be as good as new no matter what you do. They're not going to be better than new no matter what you do, unless you totally tear the whole entire thing down and just build a tiny house on the chassis. It's just not gonna it's just not gonna be. So yeah, number 5 is one of my favorite reasons. It's because they're totally restorable. No matter what, you can restore these things and make them look beautiful. Number 6, they're fun to camp or live in. They're just fun. They're fun little things. Because they're just so cute and they're just so different, and there's not quite as many of them around anymore, and they're just, and it's like going camping for real, because everything's so simple inside. You're not taking like this whole high-tech whatever with you. You're not taking your whole house with you. It's just something that you have out in the middle of nowhere for fun. You know, it's basically, you know, like I built my van, just bare bones, just good enough. You know, you don't have to have all this fancy stuff. And to me, that's what makes it fun. And challenging, and makes you use your brain while you're out there, you know. So even if you're just using it for camping, it's I think it's more fun to camp in something like that than like something that is basically an apartment on wheels. And so for that reason alone, you know, that's a good reason to consider a vintage trailer. They're just fun. Number 7, and it's another one of my favorites. They're just adorable. They're just darn cute. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, you know, when they draw pictures of campers for, you know, cartoons or whatever, they're not drawing some brand new freaking Winnebago or whatever it is. They're drawing these cute little campers from the 1950s. You know, they're drawing the cute little teardrop trailers. They're drawing, you know, I mean, they're adorable. And when you think of a vintage trailer, you think of just something really cute. If that's what you're into and that's what you want, and you want to go glamping, as they say, they're the perfect cute little thing to do. And because they're so cute, you can, you know, they have clubs. You can get into vintage trailer clubs and meet people. That's a good thing, you know, because they're cute and because they're unique. You can go to special campgrounds where you can park them and meet other people that own them. Because they're so adorable, they turn them into Airbnbs, so you can go stay in them if you don't own one yourself. I mean, they're just adorable, and people love them. So no matter where you go, people are going to go, oh, look at your cute little trailer. You're never going to be somebody that somebody says, oh, look at that ugly thing. You know, everybody loves them because they're just adorable. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope maybe that some of you out there are considering a vintage trailer, and I hope that you chime in and let us know. Like I say, I try to include every type of nomad on my channel. I don't want to just be van people or trailer people or whatever. I think we're all in the same community. And if you're like me, you've pretty much done it all. You've been in every kind of nomadic situation there is, from living in your car all the way up to living in a motorhome. So, I mean, we're all the same people, and so I want to include everybody. So, yeah, if any of you out there are doing a trailer, or any of you out there have a vintage trailer or are considering one, please put it in the comments. We'd like to know. And like I said before, if any of you guys have any questions on any of these subjects and you want to revisit some of these things, please let us all know in the comments. And also, like I say, we need to know you guys' info. Like, you know, it's gonna you know, benefit the community if you have some comments and some things to say. We all learn from each other, and that's how it goes. And just remember to check my descriptions and all that kind of stuff so that you can watch you know, random videos. And also, I try to put the playlists for these 7 reasons down in my video description so that you guys can watch those and all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day and watching me, and thank you very much, and have a nice day. All right, guys, bye.